stop. I can see you already making an angry comment below. Listen, all right. So first off, if you are like this type of content, this kind of react news style content, you can go ahead and skip to the timestamp below, or not timestamp below, but the chapter marker. And if you are here for my more scripted content and don't like to see this type of content, I have something that I want to say that I don't have enough time to put in the beginning of this video. So I'm going to add a pinned comment below summarizing everything. As you can see here, like I've already tried editing this and putting it in there, but it just doesn't get the point across. But basically, I am considering making a second channel for content like this. Content like this gets a lot of views, and I already do this for my live stream audience, and it would kind of be irresponsible for me to not turn it into some sort of a show and put it up live so that I can discuss Star Citizen stuff with you guys, the community. That's the idea for this type of stuff. But I want your feedback on whether or not I should keep it here on the main channel, make a second channel, do it at all, or what I can improve on with this type of content. I'm not used to making it. So my ADHD kind of takes over sometimes. But anyway, that's enough time that I want to spend on this. Let's go ahead and get to the video.
Where's my...
From the show floor, the new starter from Crusader.
The Intrepid is the newest starter ship from Crusader Industries.
If you guys don't know, I've done a first look of the Intrepid, and they since changed the weapon after I made that first look, but my thoughts are really, I still gave my thoughts on it needs to be upgraded. I kind of figured it would be upgraded, and they did. So now it's like, there's a game package available that I think is worth it. It's like $68 for a game package and the ship. I think that brings the cost down. If you subtract the value of the game package, it brings the cost down to being something I think is fair for what you get. So that's good. But the base one is priced too high. I knew it was going to be $65, but I think it really needed to be 45 or 50. So that's my thoughts on that. Link to my first look where you can see the ship more in depth is on the YouTube. I'll link that up in the info card or whatever above. Let's keep going.
Specializing in cargo delivery and lightweight combat, it carries several unique characteristics.
I want to go back to
Specializing in cargo delivery.
Kind of getting an idea of what they actually intend us to use the show for. That's pretty cool to see. Okay. I see.
And lightweight combat, it carries several unique characteristics that set it apart from others of its class.
Please do.
The Intrepid carries its 8 SCU of cargo in 2 freight elevators, which also serve as additional entry and exit points in emergency situations.
I think the cargo bays are kind of gimmicky.
And while its
I don't like the fact that they put so much emphasis on a gun that winds up being meh.
Armament might seem modest, the Intrepid bolsters an exceptional size 4 weapon hardpoint, giving it an edge over other starter ships when piloted well. Whilst this starter ship's distinctive design pays homage to Crusader's larger starfighter ships, its dedicated engineering terminal also ensures efficient operations for any challenges ahead. The Crusader Intrepid looks to be a worthwhile entry into IAE's showcase of vehicles aimed at entrepreneurial pilots making their initial foray into industry. And you can find it on this year's show floor to consider for yourself.
Despite official denials by leaders throughout the Empire, sources now confirm the existence of Legionnaires, the UEE's daring, highly trained special mission force. Their purpose, to defend human freedom against Vandal and the forces of tyranny and evil throughout every corner of the galaxy. And they can now be yours in the comfort of your own quarters. The next wave of authentic Legionnaire figures and vehicles. There's Shadow Stranger with Hornet Ghost, Hound Dog with Hornet Tracker, Sandstorm with Tumble Nova, Dr. Parasite with Terrapin Medic, Major Dauntless with Crusader Intrepid, and General Jax McCleary with the RSI Polaris. And while the UEE may not be able to confirm...
Was that a tease right there? yo, I may be behind on the lore and all that, but Jax is gone. He left. Is he coming back into Polaris, right? Would this ship have been available to him when he was gone?
The RSI Polaris. And while the UEE may not be able to confirm the existence of Legionnaires, you can recreate your favorite scenes from the hit show on Spectrum. And don't forget to buy 2, so you can always keep one new in box in case you're ever crazy enough to sell one. Legionnaires. They'll send the Vandal back where they come from. Pirate Playground sold separately. Requires meshing for assembly.
Welcome to the IAE Show, brought to you from New Babbage, the site of this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and your guide to the future of spacecraft and vehicles in the verse. Up next, we discuss A Time to Kill with Rich Tyra, John Crew, and Jared Huckabee. Don't change the channel, it's the IAE Show, and it starts right now.
I like when Rich talks.
All right, thank you so much. Welcome to the IAE Show.
I feel like they want to shut his mic off sometimes,
with Rich
but
and John about the future of space combat, spaceship operations in our Persistent Universe game. There's a couple topics we're going to cover, one today and then 2 more as we go. I want to talk about something that is at the core of the entire spaceship experience, and that's time to kill. Now, right now in Star Citizen, as players have known it since 2015, your ship can take a few shots and then it goes, poof, you know.
It's funny that we were literally just talking about this.
Fiery explosion, a very impressive fiery explosion. Shout out to Mike Snowden and his team there. But that's not the experience that we've been building towards. And a lot of the changes that we announced at CitizenCon with insurance and whatnot, these are tied into the future direction of spaceships and life on board spaceships. Talk to me about time to kill. How long are these ships supposed to last? Are they supposed to go up like confetti like they currently do? And what's the vision for space combat supposed to be?
I think the first thing...
It's really cool. Jared has a reflection of Port Olisar in his glasses.
At CitizenCon with insurance and whatnot. These are tied into the future direction of spaceships and life on board spaceships. Talk to me about time to kill. How long are these ships supposed to last? Are they supposed to go up like confetti like they currently do? And what's the vision for space combat supposed to be?
I think the first thing we need to talk about is moving away from time to kill and move towards time to disable. Because in the PU, ships are not always going to explode, but we want you to be in that loop of wanting to own your ship. Loss should matter. And we want you to put time and effort into your ship, and that means time and effort into keeping your ship alive, and if something does happen, getting it back.
We've talked about physicalized damage in the past. Is this just a matter of getting that physicalized damage system in, or is there more to it than this?
First off, physicalized damage is tied to our Maelstrom system, which you probably didn't know, but we saw for the first time in action for the Squadron demo. All the ships, for example, in the turret sequence were set up with Maelstrom and using our physicalized damage system. We're moving towards more a physically based system that actually works out the speed of the projectile, the collision, and then generates the force, and that force then dictates the damage that's associated with the ship itself. And what that means...
Oh, I gotta go back and listen to that one more time to make sure I understood.
And that force then dictates out the speed of the projectile. We're moving towards more a physically based system that actually works out the speed of the projectile, the collision, and then generates the force, and that force then dictates the damage that...
So he's basically saying that speed is gonna be an important factor when factoring in how much damage it's gonna do to armor. So one really good balanced thing you could do for the Ion is turn it into a railgun. And I don't mean like a charge weapon, it already is, but I'm literally saying like a ballistic projectile, like a mass driver, a railgun. That way, oh, but ballistic weapons are supposed to damage the components. So maybe that may not work. Maybe there could be a railgun variant, I don't know. They need to balance the first one first, but let's keep going.
It's associated with the ship itself. And what that means is that opens up a whole new area of gameplay for piracy, taking those ships back, repairing, going back to your ship to actually either take it back to your own crafting hangar to be able to dismantle it for resources, or if you're the pirate itself, you can actually take it to the council and get your own ID on there. But ultimately, while we have soft death in the game right now, that's kind of a faked soft death. It's kind of just a slightly move in that direction, but it's not the full physicalized system that we've been working on for a long time. You know, when John says loss matters, it's something we need to start talking about. Well, if I have lost my ship and it does take a long time to get back, how does that impact me if I'm playing the game? What happens if that's my only ship? And I think that's where we need to start thinking about a more complex algorithm to deal with insurance claims and how you get your ship back. And then that directly ties into the TTK or TTD, time to disable, for us to be able to get these ships back. So if you think of, say, starter ships or ships that are small in nature, so like an interceptor or some of our small racing ships, those ships should be, like I said in the 1.0 talk, should always be readily available. So if you lose those ships, we don't really want to punish the player. It needs to be a symbiosis where loss matters and it needs to be impactful to your game experience, but it can't be so impactful that it stops you playing the game. Then it essentially curves up towards the more extreme scenarios. We need to have this almost agile algorithm that basically allows us to work out, like, okay, how many times have you lost your ship in the last hour? Does this player have only one ship on their account? How do we take that into account to make the player...
Whoa. What do you guys think of that? Is that a good idea? Balance things around how many ships a player has?
Like, okay, how many times have you lost your ship in the last hour?
And how many times you've lost your ship? I guess the only thing I have about that is, like, how does that make sense for a living, breathing sim? To your insurance company feels bad that you've died too many times recently, so they give you a discount or get the ship there quicker. I don't know about that. That's bad. The opposite. Oh, you know what? I probably need to have chat showing up on these, right?
This player.
Yeah, I think it's important for the React vids to have chat there too, so that the viewers can see what the consensus is. But basically, no one really likes that idea. I like the idea, like the intention behind it, I think is great. But it doesn't make sense. It's too far-fetched. Opposite of if you lose too often, longer wait time. I don't think they should punish you for dying so much. I get why you're saying that. So, like, I get, you're making it like super realistic. It's like you got to pay more and it's going to take longer because you're always wrecking your ships. I get but the middle ground versus what he's saying and what you're saying is where it is right now, basically. So I think that what Rich just said is like going too far left, right? To punish reckless flying. Yeah, basically you're almost rewarding it. Also, what about like players who are solo trolls who just have like an account that has like one life fighter on it and they just go murder hobo in it? I'm talking like in-game, like later on down the road, you're going to have people have like alternative accounts where they just have their one ship and then when they finally die in it, then they hop into another one. So you'll have people that are almost like not even playing the simulator, bypassing that. I don't think that's going to be a pretty big portion of the community that's going to do that. But those people basically are going to lose their ship all the time and you're going to reward them for it. I don't know. Crew said they don't want to punish players and stop them from playing. And they start out by punishing players. All right. But yeah, so I don't know. That's my opinions on that. I don't really like that. I understand, like, I like the intent behind it, but I don't think that that's a good thing to actually implement. I'm glad they talk about this type of stuff now with us so that we can give feedback and change it in the future. So that's my opinions on that. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think.
Have only one ship on their account. How do we take that into account to make the player experience fair?
Of course, that's the ultimate penalty, loss of your ship. Until that point, we've got features like resource networking, which is the beginning of this time to disable, this extending the length and life of your ship to make it so that not only does it not explode right away, but the players, the members aboard the ship, have more opportunities to repair the ship. What is that experience supposed to be like on a single player ship? How do we keep that alive longer to the larger ones?
It's a two-way thing. Obviously, time to kill, time to disable is generally thought about as the aggressor's point of view, but it also matters to the victim of this combat encounter. We can't have it be so quick that you have no chance to do anything about that. So with physical damage and resource network, it moves it away from being a just sort of race to zero on the health. Items will start malfunctioning, forcing that person to make a decision of, am I going to flee? Am I going to deal with this now and take the risk? And then on the flip side, that gives you, as the aggressor, the chance to go, what do I want to do with this disabled ship now? Obviously, single seaters have less room for options in this scenario, but really the bulk of that gameplay is on the larger multi-crew ships where you'll be moving around inside your ship, repairing, replacing relays. The engineer will be diverting power to different systems, just to sort of give everybody enough time to decide what they want to do in that scenario. And there's so many different scenarios that can be done.
Sounds like we're building a progression.
So this important thing. So the guy just said some of us specifically buy more ships so that you can swap another ship so it's long claim timer. The reason why I wholeheartedly disagree with that is because that goes against Death of a Spaceman so heavy. I don't get why people are doing it. Chris Roberts has already, pulled back on Death of a Spaceman once. I would not spend money assuming that he's going to pull back on it again. He may pull back on it again. I know if you guys don't know, I don't really PvP. It's kind of why I did fall in love with this game, but I have not PvP'd like literally since then. It's been years before it's been any sort of focus of mine. I will stop playing this game the day that we have the ability to have consensual or non-consensual combat, like being able to opt out of me being attacked. Like I want to feel like I actually accomplished something by getting something done. I don't want to feel like I'm invincible and like I'm entitled to just be alive all the time. No, I feel like the reward is that much better knowing that you didn't have to make it there, if that makes sense. So they have to find the balance in that. So this is coming from someone who doesn't currently PvP. Problem is that the player with several ATI ships is at risk of not carrying. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a problem that somebody can just not care. I don't want that. Now you can't stop someone from having multiple accounts, and they'll never do that, right? Like look at the company that owns Eve, CCP or whatever. They've basically like made it so that you kind of, if you want to really play the game, you've got to multi-box is what they call it. So they're actually making it so that if you really want to be competitive, you have to have multiple accounts, and you got to pay the monthly, fee for it as well. So it's expensive. I don't agree that it should be like that type of route, obviously. But I think that CIG and Chris Roberts are trying to find like a middle ground between what Eve is and what they want Star Citizen to be, which I think is good. But Death of a Space Marine should not impact your claim time and ships. It's more reputation of your person towards the different guilds and so on. In my opinion, that is. The person is dead. I have a son, inherit stuff, will not want to claim timer. Right, but once you die a certain amount of times, then you lose like a heavy amount of whatever you've acquired. I don't know exactly what it is. I need to rewatch I'll link that in the video. If you guys, I think everyone needs to read original Death of a Spaceman and then watch the video that came out like 2 or 3 years ago with Chris Roberts where he's updated it. Everyone needs to watch that video. You should not be backing this game without understanding that this game is supposed to have heavy consequences for death. Now, what Rich just said is the opposite of that. So I don't know where they're going with this. Death tax, they called it. What Rich just said is not telling me that there's very much consequences for death. I want those murder hobos to have to be really, really good to do what they do. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's move on. We don't want this to be like an hour-long video.
Progression here. Are the larger ships intended to last longer? They have more lifespan. There's more that you can do to keep them alive. Am I sensing this right? Is there a progression here?
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, we want you to progress in the game and build your fleet, whether that's solo or with a group. You need to be able to have some level of understanding that you're not going to lose it straight away. And the other aspect that I think is really important to see about in terms of when you say progression, it's not just progression for the TTK or TTD for across the entire spectrum of the game, or the progression for the player, the victim or the defender, or versus the attacker. When your ship is disabled, there's no way to bring that back. When we have the proper version where your ship components are gone and utilizing the physicalized damage, you can bring that ship back. And that's the huge difference. And that opens up this entire gameplay loop where you have towing and repair, and maybe somebody can repair it for you. And that's what, they've opened a nearby shop, so they're a repair shop and they give you good chances to repair versus cheaper prices than taking it to an LZ or a space station. So I think when we talk about progression, especially from my perspective, I want to see progression across all the professions. And hopefully people start to see, and it's the reason why we wanted to talk about 1.0, people start to see how all these things connect together. There's a reason why we did all these things over the last 2 or 3 years. It's not like we were just throwing a dart at the dartboard and hoping that, what feature is next. We had, it's that grand plan about trying to bring them all together. But ultimately, we want to be in a position where we can start to focus and connect all of the gameplay systems. And I think this is a key part of that.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. This TDD, we're going to have to get in the habit of calling it TDD now, doesn't just open up the life of the folks who own these ships in combat. I'm really excited about it opening up, like you said, repair, refueling, rearming, all these things.
Absolutely.
It's like your ship hull is still there, even passenger transport. Like, hey, I need to get back to my ship, but maybe it's still in a conflict zone and everything, so I need help to get back. There's so many opportunities that increasing the lifespan of these ships gives to the game.
And just to be clear as well on that front, they're not end game professions either.
No.
Every profession in the game should have a starting location, so you can become self-sufficient if you want to play by yourself and you want to try and figure it out on your own. But then you can also engage in the community and be online. So there's definitely avenues that are available to you.
You mentioned the difference between PvE and PvP. So these changes on the surface sound great from a player versus player standpoint, from a player making their life in the verse, but trying to do some of our more basic missions and realizing that, okay, well, this time to disable change could make some of those missions tedious if it were applied unevenly across.
There's two things to take into account. One is the fact that if we look at the balance across the entire game right now, and I'm going to say end game, the current end game, because the current end game really kind of finishes with medium ships. We don't really have the large ship gameplay that we want to add. But the current end game is probably too easy, and the current starter position in terms of the balance of these missions is too hard.
Give us some for the PvEers.
And the second thing was for PvP and PvE. So you kind of have this opposite end of the spectrum. You have this end of the spectrum, which is PvE side, where we want you to be the hero. And in that scenario, while we want to have challenging missions where you're going up against a high target bounty who's in a single ship and his ship is really well repaired, but we also want you to be able to go up against 4, 5, 6 ships as an encounter. Where we're going to start balancing that aspect is that those ships will probably be owned by bandits or pirates, and they'll be less well repaired, so they will be easier to kill or easier to disable. So if you talk about the PvE side...
Okay, that's really good. Yeah, that's really good. That makes sense, right? Why would a pirate have like a fully repaired ship? He can't just go anywhere to go repair it. It's probably going to be a little bit busted. I really like that. That's really good. That's a really good idea. I like that. That's a good way to balance it. Allow me to go ham on these NPCs and then not allow me to just do the same thing in PvP. Sometimes they surprise me with like shit they come up with.
I think more ships will end up going critical and blowing up so that you're not left with just these 5 ships. And it's also part of the economy balance that we don't want you to just constantly be collecting ships. But ultimately we'll have that, we will balance it.
Those big heroic experiences where you feel like a badass killing.
You don't want to be fighting the same 5 things for an hour.
Right. Exactly.
Disabling them all one by one. You want them all to go.
And then on the PvP side,
Now, I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. Unless the balance is that like the power plant doesn't have very much HP on a PvE ship. I don't necessarily think it needs to blow up all that easy. I kind of want to be able to board it and take everything. Like, I think that'd be really fun. You come up, do a bounty, you kill like 3 guys, and you get out and loot all 3 ships. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like, I want to be able to choose to disable, even in PvE. Like, I want to make the decision that I'm not trying to kill them. I want to damage them so I can loot it. You know, have some buddies come around and salvage it afterwards. So I don't necessarily know if I agree with exactly what they're saying here.
An hour.
Right. Exactly.
Disabling them all one. You want them all to go.
And then on the PvP side, you know,
and allow me to, you know, sub-target the power plant if I want to blow it up. Let me do that. I'll bring a ballistic weapon with me so I can make sure that I can hit the power plant. Yeah, I think I understand where they're going. I like like I said, the intent. I think what they're saying is fine so far.
You want them all to go.
They just have to do it right.
On the PvP side, you know, we want to make sure that, well, even if you're in a starter ship and you're in a starter ship and we go and fight each other, or I'm in a medium ship and you're in a medium.
But then it's too profitable. I don't necessarily think that has to be the case, because imagine how much time you're going to spend to loot all those ships. They can easily balance how profitable it is. Yeah, like I get what you're saying though, about like an NPC ship should not be very valuable at all. A player ship should be much more valuable, but an NPC ship shouldn't be very valuable at all.
We don't want to be in a position where,
like, if you were talking about the ship, and then now the stuff on board, like I said, I want to be able to take that stuff. Maybe that there's a group of a faction that has like a armor that I like. Maybe I need FPF weapons. I personally don't buy armor or weapons in the game. I seldom put on my subscriber flare because I want to go out, play, kill things, and then I want to wear the stuff from the people I killed. I want to keep what I kill, right? Like Chronicles of Riddick type shit. So yeah, I don't buy any of that. I'll go out, find my weapons. I mean, I'll obviously need to bring something, but the plan is going to be to take what I kill and it makes the game a lot more fun than me entering the fight with everything that I need to have and I'm just killing people. I can go do that in any game. In this game, I want to be able to like not have to pay for the things, so I could just take them. But anyway, but like I said, yeah, I would like to be able to easily choose whether or not I want to disable an NPC ship or take it out.
5 seconds, it's gone. But ultimately, I think you're going to get greater enjoyment if you had to work for it and you had to have some level of challenge. And that's where we want to be, in a position where we can look at...
That is true. Basic components will be lower HP, so that will work.
PvE.
It could also not start out at 100% either.
PvP, and we can balance them in a way that gives us the best experience for both of those players. And I think this comes back to what I said at CitizenCon. We genuinely want to strive that everybody who wants to play Star Citizen, that there is a role in the verse for those players, and that they have something that they want to work towards and achieve. And ultimately, if they're going to, you know, spend their free time, we have a duty to make sure that we are providing fun for those players.
All right, so thank you guys so much. That's Time to Kill, or Time to Disable, new term for the lexicon. Up next, we're going to ask John Crew to take us on a photographic tour of his 4 dogs. It's 2 spaniels.
What is lexicon? What is he talking about? As long as you don't have like 50 Buccaneers and like 200 Ninetales. The problem is that actually getting out of your ship, number one, is risky because you're, you know, defenseless. Like, what happens if they get back up? Which I'm assuming that might happen at some point, maybe. Like you can piss off that faction, they start sending people after you. So you're vulnerable there. And the amount of time it takes you to actually get out of the ship and grab those things is a long time. So I don't know. It shouldn't be worth it. I don't know if you should be able to make a living off of just like looting the pirates. You know what I mean? Off of that alone. So they need to find a balance there. I think I agree with what you're saying. I don't think you'll be able to acquire. And if you do acquire that much stuff and sell it, like it shouldn't be the best way to make money in the verse. You know what I mean? Trading should be the best way to make money in the verse if you already have money, because you have the most amount of risk, so you should have the most amount of reward. And combat doesn't need to be anywhere near that amount. You should be doing it for you know, the fun of it. Obviously make enough money to be able to sustain your ship and progress within that gameplay loop. But if you really want to make the most amount of alpha you see, it should be trading, in my opinion.
And 2 Labradors. Stay tuned.
You thought you had the whole story, but there's still a lot you don't know.
Excuse me?
You thought you...
They're in Los Santos?
You had the whole story, but there's still a lot
I'm
you
sorry,
don't know.
no, that is Los Santos. What is it? It says
You thought you had the
2013. Wow. That's crazy. I've never seen this in real life. I mean, I knew that Grand Theft Auto has a lot of places that I recognize, but I had no idea that this place was literally like a damn near one-to-one creation. Anyway.
The whole story, but there's still a lot you don't know.
Oh, I thought he was gonna take a dump on it.
Perfect.
Mark Avon is the bug maker.
Prequel shows are all the rage these days.
Bug makers. It's easier than the show about fixing them ever was.
Welcome everybody to the return of Quantum Questions, where we take a CIG developer, put them on the hot seat, and make them answer as many questions in under 2 minutes as they can. Joining us on the show this week is Vehicle Art Director, Mr. Ben Curtis. Ben, how you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. You excited?
A little bit nervous and excited, yeah.
Let's put 2 minutes on the clock and begin. Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Ben Curtis, and I am Vehicle and Weapons Art Director at CIG.
Are you any good at it?
I hope so. I'll back us to the side.
Jeffries tubes, yay or nay?
100% yes.
Why did the Polaris get so many new guns?
Because you want capital ships to be able to destroy things. But no, really, it just got PDCs.
Yeah. Speaking of PDCs, are other ships going to get them now that they've arrived with the Polaris?
Yeah, we've added them to some existing ships already, and anything kind of capital ship and larger should get them.
Does that include the 890 jump?
Correct, yes.
Are you happy with the Polaris?
Very happy.
Tell us one of the ships from that CitizenCon tease of the next 12 months.
The Perseus.
Ooh. Can you tell us another?
No.
Why don't we make more variants of existing vehicles?
I think when it comes to variants, it's a balance of backlog ships, new ships that we want to try and do, and then kind of variants, and it's just really getting them slotted in together.
If you could make a new variant of an existing vehicle right now, what would it be?
So make sure I'm actually providing commentary here. Who thinks we need more variants of ships? I think having 3 variants is fine. They shouldn't be like cookie cutter. You know? It shouldn't be like, oh, this combat ship is going to have 3 different variants, and one's going to be an interdictor or a quantum enforcer, and one's going to be whatever. You know, like it should be a variety, and I think 3 is fine. I think the way it kind of leans towards 3, I think that's a better route to go. So I think that's fine. I'm surprised that that's a common question people ask.
A bounty hunter cutter.
Oh, nice. What will be the next variant of an existing vehicle?
Bounty hunting cutter?
What would it be?
What?
A bounty hunter
How does that
cutter.
work?
Oh, nice. What will be the next variant of an existing vehicle?
Super Hornet.
Retaliator modules. Which
Yes.
one are coming next?
Probably the dropship and habitations aspect.
What was your favorite temporary internal name for a ship or vehicle that never made it to the public?
We've come up with a code name, and all I'll say is you've got to catch them all.
Okay. Will the Connie get a Mark V after seeing how cool the Zeus is?
Probably not a Mark V, but it will get an update.
Okay. Caterpillar modules. Give us something tangible. What are we thinking?
I think we've obviously got cargo at the moment. I think there's lots of opportunities. We could do exotic cargo. We could do, I know everyone wants a mini carrier or that sort of mini ship. Med base, lots of opportunities.
Okay, so basically, they're not working on the Caterpillar modules at all. Like that's not that's not. They have not had any meetings on that. That's more than a year down the road before they even start with Caterpillar modules, which is fine. I anticipated that because they're working on base building ships. So I like this segment here because like you can see that you can't really bullshit. I doubt that these questions though are completely blindsiding them, but unless he's a really good actor, that blindsided him.
Carrick blast shields?
Yes, in 4.0.
Let's go.
Carrick cargo doors?
In 4.0.
Oh, I'm going to try to squeeze one more in. What is the next manufacturer to get a focus after everyone frees up from the Polaris?
We're still on RSI, but we're also pushing on to larger MISC ships and Drake ships.
And what's the deal with the long dash of the Starlancer?
It's a subjective choice, and I thought it was really cool, and some people don't.
All right, let's find out how you did.
that.
And so after part one, Ben Curtis said,
Okay, so wait, let's go back. The Carrick blast shields, that's
in
pretty dope.
4.0.
So, how's this actually going to work, though? I thought glass was supposed to be, like, really, really strong in this universe to explain why you can't just, like, target the glass and kill everybody inside. So, like, is it going to be stronger? Like, okay, I guess I get it. Okay, yeah, this is cool. I can see the use case of it. You put this on. It gives you protection on the nose. You kind of need to leave anyway, right? Because you don't have pilot weapons. But you do have the remote turret gunners. Maybe they can have shots on. I don't know. Yeah. But I knew that this was supposed to come, and it looks really cool.
Carrick cargo doors?
In 4.0.
This is a very important thing because there's a lot of people who literally just melted their Carricks. So let me know in the comments below if you just melted your Carrick for a Starlancer. Now,
I'm going to try to squeeze one more in.
Will it go lower?
What is the next manufacturer to get a focus after everyone frees up?
That's my question there. Will it lower down so you put a land vehicle on it? I don't like it just being up this high. I think it needs to have a second. If they can do that, then the Caterpillar is next. Right? Because that was one thing with the Caterpillar. They wanted it to come down. Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't do that. But they're not showing it here. So I wouldn't anticipate that it would. We need to see. You're never happy with the Carrick since they moved. What was the original design that they moved from? It's part of not building ships from inside out. They need to get larger as they, yeah. But they do that now. But unfortunately for the ships that were made back then, I think that they thought about what was going to be in the inside. You can see it. I just don't think that they didn't have it right. They've added so much feature creep that you need to have all these different things, suit lockers, and I mean the list is like on and on of things you could potentially need to have, and that type of stuff takes up space. I mean, look at the Intrepid, all the stuff that it has inside. Like, is that stuff going to fit in the Titan if they rework it? Intrepid has a lot of room. The bed, it's got everything you could need. Like literally, you name it: gun rack, shelves, armor, suit locker, bed, chairs, component access, cargo bay, well, cargo, whatever, I don't know what you want to call it. They're supposed to be pods. Oh, right. So, okay. That's a major thing. So they're not going to do that? Did they say they're not going to do that? Yeah, I guess if they were going to do cargo pods, then they wouldn't need this. So they must have gone away from that. I don't really like that idea. I like that aspect of the Carrick. Carrick models are coming. Okay, so they haven't deviated from the plan. It's just the gameplay loop. The feature's not in yet. My problem is it's ugly. I don't know. That's subjective. I think I'm not saying that the old one looked bad, but that's kind of subjective though. I think it looks fine, but I don't know. You think the Starlancer Max will go up in price? No. Anyway, all right.
What is the next manufacturer to get a focus after everyone frees up from the Polaris?
We're still on RSI, but we're also pushing on to larger MISC ships and Drake ships.
And what's the deal with the long dash of the Starlancer?
It's a subjective choice, and I thought it was really cool, and some people don't.
I think it's fine.
All right, let's find out how you did. And so after part 1, Ben Curtis sets the standard with a whopping 15 questions answered correctly. We'll see if John Crew can best him next time. Up next, Dan McCabe. Is he really all you need to make every spaceship?
Any teasers or anything here? Spectrum satellite recalibrating. So, what do you guys think about this whole show, this whole series?
Make every spaceship.
Well, I mean, what do you guys think about the format of it? I think I like it. I like this segment here too because, like I said, I want to say that like the dev has to have some sort of an idea of what the questions are, so that they don't like misspeak or like, because he could have easily misspoke right now. So we're gonna have more of these issues where a dev comes up, he gets put on the spot, he has 3 seconds to answer a question, and he throws some shit out, and then 5 years later, somebody's gonna be like, but, and then we got to hear that shit. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but at the same time, I like the idea that it's like candid. So yeah, I wonder if they have any sort of idea what the questions are going to be. I can say that I don't think he could have. He's he'd have to be a really good actor.
Okay, we could do.
Basically, I know without a doubt that the Caterpillar modules are not being worked on. He has no idea, and what he's saying right now, he's just pulling out of his ass, which is fine. Let's see what he actually said though, because
Caterpillar modules. Give us something tangible. What are we thinking?
I think we've obviously got cargo at the moment. I think there's lots of opportunities. We could do exotic cargo.
See, he's saying we could do. So like, this is no different than like if they called a meeting for what they plan on doing with the Caterpillar modules. He's like just making shit up.
We could do. I know everyone wants a mini carrier or that sort of mini ship. Med base. Lots of opportunities.
Okay.
It's at the end here. I thought Oh, literally one frame? Oh crap, dude. How do you what?
Every spaceship.
Oh, look at the dogs. You see the dogs there? You got somebody kind of panicking there. Okay, here we. I can't tell what I'm looking at in that frame. Okay, that matches that. But where's the one that you sent me? I want to show chat the first one.
Hello.
Okay, you're saying it's right at the beginning, like literally the beginning of the video. Oh, okay. Okay.
That.
There it is. Okay. So this is going to be the Paladin. And what manufacturer is this? It's a gunship, right? Yeah, it does kind of look like a Valkyrie. Oh, it's Anvil. Oh, okay. Okay. So maybe like a bigger Valkyrie with like bigger weapons or something? That's not a dropship? Anyway, okay, yeah. So yeah, my overall thoughts is I like this. Are they going to do this every day? I mean, what they call this? Episode 1? This would be really dope if they did this every day. I just don't know how they could sustain this every day. I haven't even seen this. Okay, this is on the homepage. Cool. I don't really care about those trailers. They're cool. I wish they can give us camera controls like that so we can make stuff like that easy. But and you said scripted earlier, Super Chair Destroyer. Are you saying that the rapid fire questions at the end are scripted? Have an outline of what to say and add a little more detail. In my opinion, what I saw in this video
from the show
is with the rapid fire part, at the very least, not every question was given to him in the beginning, but either he's faking like he's been caught off guard with his caterpillar modules, or he didn't know. I just don't think that Jared would do that. So I don't agree with that. Obviously, this is like Richard Tyrer and John Crew talking is for sure. They knew exactly what questions were going to be asked. They have it like he wasn't thinking off the top of his head. I'm literally talking. I don't care if the rest of it is scripted, but this part being scripted would be deceitful. There's no point to have this if they literally, it's not a hot seat. So I don't think I would hope that he doesn't know what kind of questions are going to be asked. Maybe they got with someone who's like above him to talk about the questions, to make sure that he may not accidentally say something that they don't want him to say. But I don't, if this is scripted, then he's acting and he's lying. I don't think that that's the case. I hope not. But yeah, I think that this is cool. I hope they do it every day. Although I just don't think that they could sustain it for that long. But I hope I'm wrong. Okay, IAE Academy. The Intergalactic Aerospace Expo is all about empowering citizens to carve out their own paths across the stars. But taking the first steps can be daunting. Enter IAE Academy, a crash course in spaceflight, and the careers available to enterprising new pilots. Complete IAE. Oh yeah, I think I've heard of this. Complete IAE Academy missions and earn rewards and thrive as you venture into the wide wildverse. To earn rewards, players must complete any 3 tasks on the 5 tasks listed below. For more information, please read Spectrum. Cool. I like this. They want people to go in and play the game and you get a reward. Imagine that. Not just paying for it. Complete any 3 tasks. In-game event shirt, combat career kit, MKX Singularity armor set. The whole armor set, okay. Stone skin undersuit, okay. P4AR Night Stalker, and the Gemini L86 pistol, okay. That's great for a new player. Pilot needs to know the basics. So the first, oh, come on. Complete the in-game tutorial that guides you. I already failed that one because I skipped past it. Now you've got a handle on the basics. It's time to join the IAE party. First, head to the city of New Babbage and Microtech, and then take the metro to Tobin Expo Center. While there, you will not test fly. Wait, while there, why not test fly a ship for free? Okay. Combat. The verse can be a dangerous place, and we recommend all pilots have some combat proficiency. One of the best ways to skill up is bounty hunting. Open your Mobi-Glass and complete the tracker training permit. Okay. I think people are going to get this on accident. Cargo haulers are the backbone of IAE, keeping our cities sustained, space stations alive, and the economy moving. Complete the opportunity for independent cargo hauler contract in your Mobi-Glass. Okay. So basically like the tracker training permit for the cargo missions. All right. This introduction mission will prepare you for more lucrative and challenging hauling contracts. Make sure you rent a ship capable of transporting it. Okay. I wonder if this is going to be available for all players to do. And check let's see what the last one is. Asteroid mining, hard mining. Okay, so they're going to want you to do mining. So the easiest route to do this would be the cargo, do the combat, well shit, and do IAE. I think a lot of players are going to skip that tutorial. A new player shouldn't. The new player should do everything. So yeah, I think this is really cool for new players. Like this is really good. This is a step in the right direction. You play the game, you get a thing. That's like how games work. For us, it's like you pay the game and you get a thing. You have to do them all. No. It says Players must complete any 3 tasks from the 5 tasks listed below. 3 of 5. So you don't have to do everything. So I would recommend obviously not going out and mining unless you do it already. Like for me, I'm going to complete this. I've already done that actually, right? Combat, I'm going to do that. Hauling, I probably wouldn't do this, but this first mission is easy, and then I'll never do these again. I think they're dumb. If you don't have the capital, I feel like you should do something else. And once you have the capital, then get like a C2 and move large cargo rather than baby stepping your way up through this. If they made it so that it was really easy to progress to the higher tiers of this, then that would be great. But I really don't want to spend weeks getting up to the higher tier of these missions and making like barely any money along the way. It's not going to be the route I don't think anybody's going to go. But the idea of it is fine. I just think that they need to tweak the rep so that like you can quickly get to like, so if you have no capital and you have a big cargo ship, you should be able to pretty quickly get there. If you have a big cargo ship, yeah, get to the higher tier quickly. And because if the person only owns a Titan, they're not going to be able to do the harder missions anyway. So why are you arbitrarily gatekeeping them? Have them do a couple of each one and then move on to the next. If they have already progressed enough to have unlocked the ship. If they've already unlocked the ship, it's just arbitrarily gatekeeping it. Because I'm just not going to waste the time. I don't think most people are. The first time, maybe people do, but I just don't see people doing it again. Just because you probably may already have the capital to do commodity trading anyway, and this is just not a good way to make money. So everything I just said about the cargo missions, I'm talking about nothing to do with this new player academy thing. I'm talking about like, I don't see the reason why anybody is going to actually progress all the way up through to not make very much capital or not make very much money. I don't see anybody doing it. They definitely should start out with it. I'm fine with like the first level. It's just the amount of missions you need to do to unlock the last level is absurd considering how much time you're going to spend. It would definitely be better to like do bounties, get enough money, and then just do commodity trading where the money in trading and cargo hauling actually is, where you buy the commodity and you go sell it. It's got more risk, obviously, but I just don't think anybody's going to max that out unless you're like a completionist. I want to be making money if I'm spending that much time loading up a ship, taking it to a place, selling it, like all that work. I want to be making money. I don't want to be not making money. Check back here daily to track your progress. Okay, this webpage will track your IAE Academy progress. Tracking won't be visible in-game. As you complete the task, you'll receive a completion stamp below. Rewarded daily. Okay, so every day you'll get a completion stamp below. So it'll be, I guess, here, right? Let me refresh this page. So I think what they're saying is that they need 24 hours to update this. Yeah, so maybe they'll replace this with whatever your progress is after a certain amount of time.